apparently you can wrap any household item in barbed wire and it becomes a weapon in a lights out match. What do we know? And it makes Dave Meltzer really sad.
Were you a fan? You like it?
I was fine. Just a very aggressive match by two very angry people.
It's really pissed a lot of people off.
I don't get it.
To quote Seth Rollins, fickle, 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 and Daniel Bryan too, to a lesser extent.
Stop being fickle, and here's some actual news. Which WWE superstar threatened to quit the company earlier this year? We have injury updates on 2 AEW stars, and AEW have just signed a top indie wrestler. Find out who in a little while. I know, right? Which superstar threatened to quit the company? Which didn't threaten to quit the company this year?
What's he like? He's a cheeky scam.
Oh, Mondays, am I right? Garfield eating lasagna. Dolph Ziggler is in the news today. He was chatting to Alex McCarthy from Talk Sport, and he discussed his match with Goldberg. Now, I'm going to hand over to Adam to give us the quote. I will warn you, this is written verbatim as Dolph Ziggler said it. I think he was a bit tired when he was being interviewed by Alex McCarthy. So it's a bit of a minefield. Good luck with it. It took me 4 attempts on the podcast.
I've got this. As a kid, I was a fan, but as a grown-up, I see these guys and I'm like, okay, I'm here to do business and do special things. I try not to be the fan. I find out what the business is like and I'm like, cool, this is the moment. And having that, like, you're the guy to do this, to set the record straight and give this guy a fantastic match, I'm like, fantastic. Then they go, it's going to be Bell Spear. And I go, come on. So I fought all day long, threaten to leave, do anything I can do. Give me 2 damn minutes. And I got a minute. Whatever. What are you going to do?
Do you know what? Spirited performance.
Thank you very much. GCSE drama coming out in droves there.
So let's dissect this. He talks about how much of a fan he was of wrestling back as a kid and how he's keen to make a moment. And here when he talks about setting the record straight, you're the guy to set the record straight. I believe he is referring to, obviously, Goldberg's match with The Undertaker that happened in Saudi Arabia that we best not think about.
I love this analysis, like proper school English, like Lord of the Flies. It's a microcosm.
Do you know
what Dolph Ziggler
meant
is?
It truly is. This is basically the Merchant of Venice in wrestler form. And
I agree with you though. I agree.
So they wanted him literally just to have a 10-second match.
Sure, and he got up to 1 minute.
He wanted 2.
He wanted 2. It's it's like an auction, isn't it? It's bartering.
They met in the middle and they got 1.
Yeah.
I think the match that we got was far better than it would have been Bell Spear, which does sound like a Pokemon to me.
I think he was great. You know what? Dolph Ziggler. I started getting into him a little bit before the Goldberg match, which is something that I haven't been into Dolph Ziggler for a long time. I haven't been interested by what he does. I was getting there, and then he made Goldberg look fantastic.
He really did.
He's obviously a very valuable guy. Like, I don't see him ever being a world champion. Again, I don't see him. I don't know. I just don't think he'll climb the card again. But if you need somebody to make somebody look like $1 million, Ziggler, Cesaro. That pains me to say in Cesaro's case.
I know, isn't it a shame? But yeah, I agree. I watched the reactions back that me and Ross had to that match because I had all my money on Ziggler beating Goldberg. I don't know. I think I was drunk. But genuinely, in those 30 seconds of that 1 minute match, you thought, my God, he's going to do it. And Ziggler's great for that. Like, he gives you those moments where you think, this is it now.
He does get the in-ring psychology. It's just the booking that's killed him. It's a real shame. Would you have been sad had he gone?
Do you know what? I would be sad if he went, but I think I'd be excited to see him inevitably turn up in AEW.
Would you?
Yeah,
he could do some fun shoot stuff,
I think
shoot stuff.
Nick Nemeth and John Moxley will have a lights out match. They'll cover a toaster in barbed wire and throw it at one another for half an hour.
One more question. Is he a future WWE Hall of Famer?
Dolph Ziggler?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, he is.
No.
Honky Tonk Man's in there.
Different, isn't it? Honky Tonk Man's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
He wasn't though, was he?
Honky Tonk Man wouldn't. Well, could Honky Tonk Man put over Goldberg? Probably better.
I'd like to see him flip around like Ziggler does.
I would love to see.
Ziggler's got to go in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? I think eventually everybody has to go in the Hall of Fame.
Everybody.
Otherwise, they'll just run out of people.
Kizani, Hayden Vanson, get in there.
I am there for the day that Midian inducts Viscera to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, Viscera was class.
Viscera is obviously no longer with us, so I'd like to see Midian stood there. I want naked Midian up there in a bow tie going, Nelson was my mate. I'm proud to accept this on his behalf. Get Midian and Viscera for Hall of Fame.
Happy Monday.
Quite a few injuries came out of AEW full gear. We'll start with Cody, who reported, according to Twitter, he had 8 stitches and a costochondral separation.
Nailed it.
Thank you very much. I thought it was a coffee shop. It's apparently the joints between the ribs and the costal cartilage.
Very nice. You've done his research.
I have indeed. So basically what happens is when the rib cage kind of becomes bleh, it could take about 4 weeks for it to go boo. And that's how a rib cage works.
That's medicine for you.
I have
medicine with Tom Campbell.
I've played Surgeon Simulator. I know exactly how you get the hammer and you hit it with the hammer until the ribs break, and then you put your watch in. That's how it works on Surgeon Simulator.
So he's not cleared for in-ring action at this time, as you say. Could be about a month before he comes back.
I think it does him well to sit away for a little bit because of how hot that angle was at the end of that match.
Totally, yeah, we won't ruin it.
No,
yeah,
no spoiler chickens. But.
Yeah, I can wait 3 or 4 weeks to see Cody back in a ring again, wrestling for sure. Adam Page suffered what is believed to have been a stinger, according to Tony Khan, in his match with Pac. He was having some issues with his right arm, but the belief is that Page will be okay for this week's Dynamite. So good news there.
Yeah, I saw a few little stings and bangs, but not many from Moxley and Omega, surprisingly.
No. I mean, the stuff that they were doing, like a lot of it looked super brutal, but was actually pretty safe. Like the glass was obviously fake, because if they'd been going through that, they would have torn their
And that was a real spider web. Barbed wire spider web that they bought from DFS earlier that
day. It sounds
day.
like I'm downplaying what they did because it was so brutal, but it was all pretty safe, I thought.
I find it really weird that how many people have reacted so horrifying, because I'm sure I've seen worse.
Yeah, for sure.
And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a cracking match. But I've seen, in terms of violent, they're acting like this is sort of. It was like the Passion of the Christ in wrestling form.
I agree with
violent.
I agree with the booking decision that the criticism of the booking that it should have maybe gone on a little bit later. Like it could have been booked better to get there. But as for the match itself, I see a lot of the same people who are calling for a return to the Attitude Era as being the ones that are complaining about this.
Yeah,
what do you want?
Not that much. We just want Kane with his mask back on.
Right.
That's all we want.
They want choppy pee-pee. That's all they want.
All the people who call for the Attitude Era want is choppy pee-pee and Kane with his mask back on. That is all they want. That's what they mean with Attitude Era.
It's all any of us want, Thomas.
Probably Sable. It's a big Monday for Big Swole. Congratulations, Ariel Monroe, who has now joined AEW, a full-time contract for Big Swole.
Yeah, I mean, I saw her match on AEW Dark against Hikaru Shida, which I thought was fantastic. The only other full match I think I've seen of hers was in the Mae Young Classic against somebody whose name I can't remember, but I remember being really impressed. And then I watched a highlights video upstairs just before we filmed this, and yeah, she's really, really good, isn't she?
Solid performer. And according to bodyslam.net, Squared Circle Sirens, and a few other sources, so basically she had this match that you spoke of against Hikaru Shida at AEW Dark. She went backstage and was offered a contract as she walked through the dusty position.
I love the idea that they've just got a big stack of them there. Another one, there you go, Jesus Christ.
You know how good your match has been based on whether they go to the in tray or the out tray. There's Tony Khan there, and as AJ Hazard walks back after competing in the Casino Battle Royale 2020.
Battle Royal. Main event. Carry on.
Sorry, mate. Then she come back and they're like, "Did I make the grade, boss?" And he goes,
Not quite yet.
No,
call me.
Hey,
he follows me on Twitter. DM me. Come on.
Does he?
Yeah, big time.
Mate, AJ Hazard is all elite. Make the dream come true. But no, Ariel Monroe, excellent performer. I'm really excited for her. Generally, the women's division in AEW right now is really strong. I think that people have blown a bit hot and cold on Riho as the champion. I think Riho's great. I've
really enjoyed her work. I thought the match this weekend was fantastic. The whole teacher-student dynamic worked really well for me. And I thought the last few minutes of that match were some of the best in recent memory. I really, really enjoyed that match.
And also, Emi Sakura is a massive Freddie Mercury mark. The whole circle where she was doing the more of that, please. I mean,
keep going.
Ayo,
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 ayo.
I love
Give us a subscribe and
Yes! I've ruined the stuff. I didn't mean to almost went your eye there. Daniel Bryan's brought back the yes chants for the first time in absolutely ages. People have been doing it at him, but he's been engaged. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, mate. I don't even need that eye or anything. Yeah, it's been about a year since he last did it. And he even said, like, do you really think you deserve to have the yes chant back here in Dublin? Like, teased a heel, and Dublin went, yeah, we do. And he went, all right. And then, for the first time in a year, led the yes chants. Now, they teased it on SmackDown the other week, where Sami Zayn was saying, like, you don't want to be that guy that does all the yes stuff again. It's going to get back to it, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to see a return of yes movement Daniel Bryan, I think, as a good, which I'm for.
Yeah, totally. It's the way, I think, a small way of getting the crowd more invested and more on board with him in the run-up to what now looks like a Fiend match as well. It looks like it's going to be Bryan Fiend, and I think that's cool.
I can't tell you what a maroon I was when I watched SmackDown and saw that. And after we did that video where I went, oh yeah, the Miz should be the next opponent, and I'm trying to think I don't think there's anybody else on SmackDown that he's got some future beef with.
Perfect, so perfect.
He's so oh geez,
he's going to make it look great. Yeah,
I'm annoyed I didn't even think of that. But yeah, so and even they now posted a picture of. Bray Wyatt posted a picture on Twitter of the moment where Daniel Bryan turned his back on him. So
nice.
It's so in keeping with the Fiend, who's going back and fixing old problems that Bray Wyatt had. So Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan, Fiend Daniel Bryan is an excellent match. Is it funny? Like It's funny how we go, and it all comes down to who we are, and it lends itself to what we talked about at the very beginning of this video. Seth Rollins facing the Fiend, and we were like, no, he can't beat him and look weak, he's too soon, this is rubbish. Daniel Bryan, we're like, yeah, come on, Daniel.
No, I don't want to see Daniel win. Do you want to see Daniel win?
Yeah.
Are you mental? Get out. What is wrong with you?
I'm having a lovely day. Fickle. That's what I am. Fickle. Mondays, am I right? Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Lastly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.